Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My name is Bennett Tyler with Aberdeen Group, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's webinar, How to Build an IT Service Desk to Support the Business of Tomorrow. The webinar today is hosted by Aberdeen Group and sponsored by SunView. During this webinar, we will be diving into the IT Service Desk, the pressures that they are facing, and the new technologies the best-in-class are exploring to increase their effectiveness and agility. Our presenters today are Jim Rapoza, Senior Research Analyst and Editorial Director of the Information Technology Practice here at Aberdeen Group. Also joining us today is Jaime Spector, Project Marketing Manager at SunView. If you'd like to read their full bios, you can use the drop-down arrows below their photos on the right side of your screen. I encourage you all to submit your questions throughout the webinar using the Q&A field at the top left of your screen. We will facilitate a Q&A at the end of the presentation and try to address as many of your questions as possible. Also, on the left of your screen, you will see our resource section. There you'll find today's presentation deck, as well as some additional reading on today's topic from both SunView Software and Aberdeen Group. It is now my pleasure to turn the webinar over to Jim Rapoza.
Thanks, Bennett. Yeah, as Bennett said, we're going to be looking at some of the challenges that businesses are facing today in providing IT service, some of the complexities that new technologies are bringing, but also some of the benefits that they can get out of leveraging key technologies and key strategies to improve their overall ability to provide service to today's both today's business users and to throughout their entire business. Some of the things we'll learn, we'll look at how technology today is not just bringing benefits but adding complexity to let's face it, already stressed, already resource driven IT departments. We're going to look at some of the challenges that having older, out-of-date legacy support systems are putting on businesses that are trying to provide support to their workforce. We're going to look at the capabilities that a best-in-class support organization leverages, that these are capabilities and strategies they're following that improve their service, improve their ability to provide support, and just kind of overall reduce stress and demand on their help desk and help them realize cost savings. And we're going to look at some steps that businesses can take to build their own leading best-in-class IT support organization. And before I want to I'll move on, as Bennett said, joining us today will be Jaime Spector from SunView. Jaime, I just want you to say hi because we're going to keep this an interactive session today. We're going to have some discussion, some back and forth. So when you jump in, I don't want people to be surprised thinking, who's that?
Yeah, sure. My name's Jaime Spector. I'm the Product Marketing Manager at SunView Software. We're located in Tampa Bay, Florida. It's a nice, beautiful day out, and ready to get started. Yeah, let's get going here.
Great. Well, it's pouring rain and cold here in Boston, but I can imagine I'm in Tampa. Well, yeah. Before I move on, also to discuss more of the webinar. Just a few words about the Aberdeen Group for those of you who haven't worked with us before or haven't seen our research. We're a little different from other types of analyst firms, and we don't rank products, we don't rank vendors, we don't build graphs or anything like that. We talk to our community. We talk to end users like yourself. We look at what technologies they're using, what are the challenges they face, what are the pressures to use technology that are pushing them. We look at everything about these businesses, how they're challenged, how they're growing, what successes they're having. And we're able to figure out who is the best in class, which by our definition is the top 20% in a given technology area. So in IT service and support, we're looking for those businesses that are in the top 20% in providing high user satisfaction and responding to issues quickly, in effectively implementing automation, reducing downtime, just overall reducing issues and improving, seeing cost improvements throughout their organization. We use, by identifying these leaders, these best-in-class businesses, we can see what they are doing, what are the steps and strategies, and we can use that information to provide recommendations, steps to follow that other businesses can take so they can become leaders or best-in-class. So with that housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the meat of today's webinar. So, for businesses today, it's about as complex and challenging as it can be. We all work in technology. We love technology. I'm a huge tech geek. and there's a lot of excitement when new technologies come out. It's great to have, intelligent AIs, to have, a lot of automation, to be able to do everything on your mobile device, to be able to interact with Internet of Things devices or smart devices, smart homes, smart business. Everything today is more dynamic, more agile, more interesting. That really helps people do their jobs. It helps people connect. It helps people, just be more effective. But when it comes to IT, all these cool things also challenge us. They make old ways of doing things obsolete. They add complexity. They require training. They require learning how new things work and how do they integrate with your existing processes and infrastructures. All around, it's like I said, it's a great thing. I love new technology. I have I have plenty of gadgets, but for an IT support group, it can bring a lot of challenge, especially if you're kind of stuck in the old model of help desk tickets and things slowly getting routed to the right person, and the employee gets an automated email saying your request for service has been received, which it basically means your request for service has gone to a black box and maybe something will happen or maybe something won't. And for today's users, this can be especially frustrating. I mean, we're basically dealing with the most sophisticated, most experienced, most tech-savvy users ever, which is great. They know how to use tech, but they also have very high expectations. As a business, everything you provide to your employees is being judged against the best technology out there. They look at Facebook, they look at Google, they look at Apple, they look at Amazon, whatever cool apps and services they're using, they expect everything they're getting from the company to work just as well, to be just as intuitive, and to be as reliable as those tools. And when they aren't, that leads to a lot of frustrations for end users. So in our survey, we talked to businesses. We also talked to users, and we asked over almost 400 end users what their top complaints with IT support were. Overwhelmingly, number one, by 61% of respondents, was slow response time. And yet that can be extremely frustrating anywhere. I mean, I've been waiting for a week here for an electrician to come to my house, which can be a huge issue. But it's also, when you're trying to get work done and you can't, access a network resource, you can't log into a system, you can't use your laptop, whatever, you want that issue to be resolved as quickly as possible. So, users complain, number one by far is slow response time. They also feel that sometimes the IT support person lack the knowledge of the problems or issues that they're facing, which I think is increasingly prevalent today when you're dealing with new technologies. If the IT support person isn't familiar with a new SaaS application that maybe everybody's using, or interaction with a client process, or any new technology, that affects their ability to provide good service. This, to me, is a huge one. I increasingly see, many of the businesses I talk to are mobile-first businesses. They've gone beyond the stage where something was nice to have it mobile, like, oh yeah, we can have it mobile. It won't be as good as our traditional browser or traditional desktop app version, but you can do something. That's switched around. People want the mobile thing to be as good, if not better, because that's going to be the primary way they interact. And they expect the same from the service and support personnel they deal with. They want to be able to get help wherever they are, on whatever device they're in, which also leads to the other complaint, which is the IT support can't provide a service specific to the mobile devices that people are using. And Jaime, I want to bring you here in now. SunView has a lot of customers across industries. When you talk to your customers, what are some of the top issues that they see their end users facing when dealing with IT support?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, slow response time it's a big one here, and there are a ton of issues why that happens, or why a help desk technician might take a long time to respond or close a request ticket. I think a big one that a lot of people, a lot of our customers have come to us with is in the past they might have used products that may offer a self-service solution that's very convoluted, not very easy to use, unresponsive. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating when you go to submit a request through a self-service portal, and the server's down, or like the portal, the means of which you're looking to facilitate support is not working properly. And then, that kind of stuff can turn off your end users, and they might have tried it once or twice, and then it's like, oh, screw this, I'm just going to, submit a ticket to the, on the help desk. And, all those like lower tier level requests can kind of bog down the help desk or the service desk. And, that workload ultimately, can drive up wait times, unfortunately. So self-service, making sure that is very easy to use, very simple, very easy to navigate, is working properly, working the way it should. That has a very big impact on, response time and overall customer satisfaction.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I love the comment about poorly realized or convoluted self-service systems. I've talked to businesses where they end up having to provide IT support for the self-service system, which kind of, boy, you talk about defeating the purpose of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one thing we found is that, certain businesses deal with more complaints than others. Like I said, part of our research is to find out who the businesses are that are good at something. We tend to break our research out. We'll rank the top 20% as the best in class. The middle 50 is what we call industry average, and the bottom 30 are laggards. They're the ones who are getting a lot of these complaints. But what makes the best-in-class business when it comes to IT service and support? What gets them into that top 20%? Well, what we found, and this is how we measured them, that these best-in-class businesses, IT support organizations, they deliver IT projects on time and on budget. So, when they have a project, whether it's a new app, a new service, whatever their main project is, it comes in on time or often ahead of time and without cost overruns. They don't have downtime. I say they have the fewest number. When we look at our best-in-class, quite a few have no downtime whatsoever. And that's not, obviously not all downtime issues can be predicted, but it's definitely not a matter of luck. By, putting in the right systems, having the right visibility, having the ability to respond quickly, or in the case of automated systems, really before the issue is felt by anyone, is how you avoid downtime. It isn't a matter of luck. It's about putting in the work and building the systems that keep you from having downtime. And probably most importantly, given the number one complaint we just saw from users, these best-in-class organizations, they respond to IT service requests faster than anyone else, often instantaneously, often interactively, collaboratively with the user. So again, it's not this sort of black box where a help desk ticket disappears and you get some automated email saying your request for service has been received. Your ticket number is -- whatever. They often get a quick response and they get their issue fixed right away. And if it's leveraging automated systems, sometimes almost instantaneously. So that's what makes a best-in-class IT support organization. But what are some of the benefits that they're getting? This is probably one of the we just said they've solved them faster than everyone. How much faster do they solve issues? 3 times faster than all other organizations. So by taking advantage of these leading capabilities, these guys don't have self-service systems that need service and support. They have self-service systems that are not just accessible through a web portal, but are accessible through mobile, that are extremely easy to use, that are basically intuitive, that if as an end user I go up for a common thing, I need to reset a password or whatnot, I can do it with a minimum of hassle easily on whatever device I'm on. As an IT support organization, if they need to find knowledge, they need to know how to fix an issue, they have that information easily accessible. They don't have to spend hours digging for assistance. They have everything they need at their hands. And they have easy access to their peers so as to get help, get expertise to solve some of those thornier, more complex issues. Now, I've mentioned automation a few times, and to me this is very much a key issue. As we saw, the number one complaint is slow response time. It's, this kind of, like I said, these legacy support systems where it's not just things going to an email box, but there's a lot of sort of manual work. Sometimes tickets don't end up in the hands of the right person. There's a lot of sort of busy work, things that are wasting IT resources and keeping staff from the tougher issues, the ones that are actually causing your business problems. But we've seen that best-in-class organizations leverage automated tools to improve the ability to provide service. So what are some of the things that they do? They're 10 times more likely to have data center workflow automation. Now, it's interesting to me, like sometimes I've talked about this to other people, and they're like, well, what does data center automation have to do with IT service support? Well, today it has probably the most to do. I mean, the days of IT support mainly supporting laptops and desktop applications and things like that are long gone. Most of the apps and services you're supporting are essentially data center applications, or if they're SaaS or cloud-based apps, the data center is where the connectivity comes through. So when you get requests for the website's down, when you get requests for I can't access the ERP or Salesforce system, or you get requests for accessing network resources or slow network performance or slow conferencing or poor VoIP quality or any of the number of 90-something% of the things you're going to get service support requests for, those are driven through the data center, and having good automation, good workflow automation really speeds the ability to address those types of issues. These businesses also use automation when it comes to deploying tools, technology, and services to their end users. Not gone are those kind of old days of an IT person walking around to desks and sticking CDs into systems and getting people uploaded, or even walking them through downloads from the main server. We're talking about seamless, press a button, everybody gets updated, they get new tools, they get new services at a time that won't impact their work, that understands the systems they're using. Just in general, makes everything as seamless and painless and time efficient as possible. And they're much more likely to use automation when it comes to understanding where all their IT assets are and how they're being used. Again, this is part of a long process, not just, okay, we're bolting this on. By having automation and dynamic knowledge built in throughout their entire system, every time something comes in, is loaded up, is deployed, it's part of the system, you know everything about it. It's much easier to keep track of these resources in that kind of environment. And Jaime, I'd like to go back to you again here. You have a wide customer base that looks a lot of these, that deploys a lot of these types of technologies and type of systems. What are some of the capabilities that you're seeing organizations, that you're seeing your customers deploy when it comes to taking advantage of these kind of capabilities?
Sure, yeah. So on the service desk, a lot of our customers ask us to build sort of some of these custom automations to just make things move a little bit more efficiently. So a good example of that is right now we're seeing a lot of companies leverage automation for what we call custom dynamic forms and fields. So this means that instead of using a bunch of different form workflows for ticket fulfillment for specific industry needs, like sometimes, you'll have different forms for, a very specific thing that's related to facilities or energy or that sort of thing. And it's all very regulated and that sort of thing. So instead of having a bunch of different templates and forms for those, which they might have as well, we have a more organic solution where the automation would trigger sort of wizard-like interface. So as a IT staff user begins filling out the form will change depending on the text input, or maybe one field is filled in while another field isn't. And all of that's very easy for them to work with us and have us build that for them. It's in the system. So that's one that we're seeing a lot of customers really take advantage of. It just makes things a little bit more organized and makes things move a lot faster. Another great automation we're seeing our customers really gravitating towards is ticket routing. And I know you had mentioned that a little bit earlier. So traditionally, help desk support staff are placed in something like a round-robin queue for working tickets. But now, with some of the smarter automation that we're, seeing service desk solutions implement that allow administrators or team leaders to set different criteria to divvy up ticket assignments for the most efficient operations. So criteria like load balance, role experience of the staff user. So all of those sort of variables are taken into account by the system in order to divvy up the ticket assignment for a specific team or teams on the service desk. And that just makes sure that everyone is, set up for success. They're given the right ticket to the right person at the right time, and not one person is bogged down with a lot of tickets because of an inefficient system. So I think those are just two small examples.
Yeah, I like that. I like both those examples. I would say the latter, like you said, getting the right ticket in the right hands. It's always been the goal. And you said I've seen horrible situations with round-robin systems where the most capable person keeps getting the lightest workload and some other person keeps getting horrible, hairy issues dumped on them just kind of out of random bad luck. So yeah, that's great to see automation in that kind of smart routing. I also like the example you brought up about those kind of dynamic personalized forms. That really gets into the issue we talked about earlier with, when we talk to end users today, they really expect these kind of smart interfaces, basically something that they would get if they were using, any of the key consumer apps they use today, whether it's buying something on Amazon or getting a ride share or basically any like key, major popular app today. They expect that kind of, personalized dynamic things that change with their needs and as they put information in. So it's really great to see that kind of people leveraging that kind of capability in service and support, because that's the type of stuff that our end users today are expecting. So we looked at some of those capabilities on the sort of automation side. Again, they're not just leveraging automation in that kind of ticket and support and where it's tying into your IT infrastructure, but also in how they're working with their end users. I'm actually going to go right to left just to kind of go along with some of the stuff that Jaime was just talking about. So you see businesses with automated ITSM, IT service support, are much more likely, significantly more likely, almost 50% more likely to have automation as part of their self-service web portal, whatever, mobile portal capabilities. That exact type of thing Jaime was just talking about, having that kind of automated form creation, dynamic interface that is not unintuitive, that is not causing issues of its own for end users, but is really helping them quickly and efficiently solve their problem. They're more likely to use automation as part of their end user training. Again, this is something you expect from other tools where you can, it knows what you're doing, knows the help you need, knows the information you need at that time. It's not just giving you some kind of throwing a manual at you essentially, or giving you the wrong kind of help, or leaving you as an end user to have to put a ticket in for something that would have been all you needed was a little bit of information. By putting that automation into their end user training, they're able to more efficiently help users, figure out what they need to do to be successful and be productive and not waste time waiting for service and support. They use automation to give their employees access to their self-service catalog and self-service systems. And again, this is, you think about the types of things that service people deal with on every day, all the tiny issues that over, in aggregate eat up a ton of their time, and the more of these kind of things that can be offloaded onto to allow end users to deal with themselves, the more time it saves IT service and support to deal with the really tough issues, the ones that are costing the business a lot of money at any time and that require resources, by saving them from these sort of, I need to install this app, I need access to this service, I need to onboard a new BYOD device or whatever the thing that the IT user is trying to do. Again, they're almost twice as more likely to leverage these kind of capabilities. And again, they're more likely, whether through chat or social interfaces, to be able to work directly with end users. And this is always key to me. People expect these kind of things. We're seeing some kind of interesting things, not just through chat and IM, but through interactive video, through live video chats, to help IT service support really walk through with end users. Okay, what's your issue? Let's see what's going on. Let's fix this. Hey, turn the phone around so I can see if all the cables are connected correctly or whatnot, or what you're seeing on your screen. These kind of, again, not just makes it easier to provide quick service and support. But it's a better interface, better interaction with your end users. That they're dealing with you one-on-one. It's not this kind of, again, cold, impersonal black box where a request goes in and then maybe at some point your issue will be solved. So we're definitely seeing these best-in-class automated teams leveraging these kind of capabilities to improve the way they provide service to their employees. Now, I'm bringing this one out. This stat is also part of a following slide, but I wanted to pull it out because it is literally a money slide. That these businesses that are leveraging automated IT support systems, and this is not just best in class, but any business leveraging an effectively implemented automated IT support system is 70% more likely to see a reduction in their overall IT costs. So to me, this is important. We're always looking at ROI, we're always looking at, am I getting a return on this kind of technology? And often, when I talk to businesses, it can be tough to get upgrades or new things as part of IT service support because, they're seen as a cost center. Often they're not seen as a business partner, they're just firemen. And that is a characteristic of what we definitely would call laggard IT support groups. Because when we look at the best in class, they are seen as business partners. They are much more likely to have a seat at the table with the executives. They are seen as someone who's not just costing money, but is saving money or helping the business even come up with new ways to improve, to be more productive. I really wanted to pull this out because to me, this is key. It isn't just about these are nice to have, so it would be nice if we had some automation to save some, so IT support people don't have to, do so much work. This is about helping the business save money. I said that stat was part of a bigger graphic, and this is the bigger graphic. So this includes some of the other benefits that we're finding from our research that businesses with automated IT support gain. So that not only are 70% more likely to lower the cost of IT services, they're over 2 times more likely to deliver new services more rapidly. So, again, one of the main reasons IT exists isn't to put out fires. It's to help businesses innovate, to help them take advantage of new technologies, new strategies, new ways of doing things. These businesses, by putting in these automated capabilities, are finding that they are able to deliver on this promise, to give the business the tools, the processes, the applications, the technologies they need, and give it to them quickly, that it's not these 3-month-long projects, that they can get things turned around quickly. From that sort of classic of helping to solve issues, these automated IT support companies are 40% more likely to take less time to solve IT incidents. So again, that was the number one user complaint. It takes too long to solve my issue. By putting in automated systems, these companies are reducing the time. They're solving these incidents quickly, which not only keeps end users happy, because you don't want unhappy end users, but gets them back to doing what they need to do. They're not sitting there not able to do their job, not able to make a sale, not able to help a customer, not able to do whatever it is they do because a key system is unavailable or because they can't access what they need. By solving these issues quickly, they're saving the company money in a bunch of different ways. Also, not only are they solving issues quickly, they're just making them less likely to happen, period. They're 33% more likely to see fewer calls to the service desk, fewer requests for help. This is partly because they have these great automated, intelligent self-service systems, making it easier for end users to get up there and take care of the issues they need taken care of themselves. But they're also, they have better overall infrastructure, that their systems are implemented better. We've talked about the data center capabilities. So their network is strong. Their servers are well implemented and optimized. Their internet connection, they know everything that's going on with that. They have good relationships with their ISPs, with their host providers, with DNS provider, whoever, their CDN. They have visibility into everything across all aspects of IT, which is helping them cut down on any issues before, people don't have to put in a help desk ticket because they didn't have a problem in the first place. And of course, all of these things lead to happier end users, 22% more likely to have satisfied end users. They're not complaining about how long it takes to get service. They're not complaining about things being down. They're just doing their job, which usually, in most cases, makes people happy or at least satisfied. Jaime, I kind of want to ask you, again, I know you talk to your customers a lot. I was just wondering if you have any, like an example or a use case of a customer who's built or put in or deployed an automated system or automated process that helped them solve a pain point that they were experiencing.
Yeah, sure. And this is actually something that I'm not sure how much we touched in previously, but a big pain point, at least from the customers who are working, in more of a DevOps development environment, sort of moving fast, developing these cloud applications, is sort of automating the communication between end user and the development team, if there's a bug or something in a release, so that problem can get addressed and it's all automatic and there doesn't have to be a million channels or points to check up on. So the cool thing we recently implemented is automated third-party integration that links software development or engineering team that may be using something like Jira for issue tracking directly to the service desk. So case in point, let's say an end user reports a bug to the service desk incident team. The automation will automatically link that ticket and any others that are associated with the bug to an active project that's open on the development side. Now, any status updates or action items, like if the bug is fixed, will immediately be relayed back to the end user in real time. So because everything is so integrated, those automations kick in and the end users are kept informed, or if that bug is fixed with a new release, that ticket is immediately resolved without someone having to look at that status and go back to the service desk. So integrations, that's a big thing that our customers have been asking us about.
I like that a lot. It's interesting when a lot of times when I talk to DevOps businesses, with agile infrastructures, agile processes, one of the issues they run into is that agile becomes an excuse for never fixing problems. Because it's like, there's a problem, but we're going to have a new rev in 2 weeks, so that'll fix that problem. And then it doesn't actually get fixed, and that problem keeps propagating. And this seems like a really elegant solution to that problem, where if you're having this kind of interaction between end users who've experienced a problem, and like you said, you're getting kind of feedback on the thing that's been fixed, it really seems like it goes a long way to helping these DevOps organizations, helping these agile organizations actually fix problems and not see them kind of propagate over multiple revs of a product. And are they seeing that? Is it helping them kind of overall reduce issues throughout their business?
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps the engineers sort of happy because, they're not having to answer a million of the questions, It's like, hey, did you fix that bug? Yeah, we already, we're working on it. Everything is automatically tracked in the system, and then the end users are happier because, if there's something related to a bug that they're already, that the dev team is working on, they're immediately notified if there's been a change, from the moment, a developer makes a change on their side to the project without even interacting with the service desk, because everything's so tightly integrated. They're automatically notified of like, hey, yeah, we're aware of this bug. It's going to be fixed at this date, or this bug it's a little bit more complex than we thought, so it's going to maybe take a few weeks. So they have that estimated effort automatically relayed back to them. So it's just better communication, and it leaves both the customers and the engineers, just happier, I would say.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. That's really, though I have to say, as somebody who's a former QA guy, it feels like that's almost a way to kind of get QA out of the equation. But even when it's QA, the goal is to not need QA. So, but that was a great example of how automation can really help a business, not just when it comes to providing service more, but to make better products, and that's something I really like about that example.
Absolutely.
So as I said, we've gone over some of the top issues. We've seen the complaints that users have, that they think it takes too long to get issues, that people don't know what they're doing. We've seen some of the capabilities that best-in-class businesses, those ones that do deliver a service quickly, that do have satisfied end users, that do see cost reductions. We've seen some of the things they do. including leveraging these kind of automated capabilities in their IT service and support systems. That by building these kind of automated systems, they're able to, be best in class. We've seen the benefits that the automated systems themselves bring, that they provide greater insight, more efficient capability, better self-service, better end-user interactions, better knowledge sharing, making sure that when a ticket comes in, when a problem comes in, it goes to the right people, that they have the right information, that they can fix it quickly. And it even means making it possible for tickets never to come by making sure that you have better systems, that you don't have bugs, that you have well-implemented systems that aren't going down, that aren't causing issues in the first place. So how do you get to be one of these businesses? What are some of the steps you could take to kind of get your service desk, to get your IT support group ready for these demands that today's technologies, that today's users are expecting? Well, we've gone over some of the steps. Again, a lot of this is by looking at some of the things that best-in-class businesses do, that leaders do. So one of the first recommendations I have is to think of your IT organization as a business partner. And when we look at the businesses that are laggards, they're definitely in the fireman stage of IT support. They're basically just out there putting out fires, and they're not proactive. They're not agile in any way, shape, or form. They're just there to fix things. Which is one goal, but it's not a way to be successful as an IT organization. We've found that those that are successful are drivers in technology. They're not a barrier. They're not saying, "Oh, we can't put in that cool new technology because we just can't do it, or it's going to take us forever, or it won't interact with this." They're helping businesses deploy new technologies. They're helping other departments leverage new technology, so you don't have rogue IT or things like that. That you're there to say, okay, yes, we can leverage this SaaS. Yes, we can take advantage of these new technologies. And overall, they're helping their business innovate. The other thing that you need to do, or these leading businesses are doing, is implementing a dynamic, automated IT support solution that helps them cut down these times to resolution and helps them reduce overall IT costs. As we saw, the number one complaint is takes too long to respond to issues, and that's what automation does. It removes time as a barrier. An automated system, that's it's right there in the definition. It is automatic. It's about doing things quickly, intelligently, often without the need for IT support people to walk in, or when it does end up in the hands of an IT support person, the automation makes it much easier for them to do their job, to make sure they know everything, they have everything at their fingertips to solve an issue, and to make things easier for end users so they can get back to work. We also find that these businesses, they take advantage of reporting, they take advantage of analytics. They have an end-to-end view into not just their IT support systems, but all of IT. And that's not just knowing that things are up, not just having green dashboards and things like that. It's knowing where you're succeeding and knowing where you're not succeeding, knowing the things that work. If you have as we talked about earlier, if you have a self-service portal that's getting its own IT support requests, that's not a success. And having the knowledge of things you need to fix is key to improving your IT support. Some of the other things we recommendations or steps we see to being best in class, is, and this goes right in hand with automation, is having that real-time service and having it when it's needed. Again, this is helping users, helping the business when a problem happens as soon as you can, no matter where you are on the devices, with the people that need the help. Not hours after the problem has happened, but right away as the issue is occurring. We also find that getting these tools across the entire business, again, whether it's self-service or other IT visibility tools, by getting more information in the hands of a lot of key stakeholders in the business, you help bring IT not just to the business desk, but people understand what you're doing and they have a better appreciation for the complexity of the task and how you're helping them succeed. And part of this is by having good collaboration. We talked about having those chat, real-time video, social interaction, mobile social interaction. you don't want to be, you've got to get way past those old days of the surly IT worker who has like a superiority complex over their end users. It's all about working with the end users to solve issues and help them. A lot of times they can help you as an IT support person to better understand the problem and fix it quicker. And again, another thing, and automation is a huge element of this, is helping users help themselves, to have good, automated, dynamic, intuitive self-service capabilities. We've seen this as a characteristic of best in class. They put these in. They greatly reduce the number of requests coming in. They don't have to deal with those kind of the constant flow of requests for password resets or access to systems or locked out of systems or whatnot. They take a bunch of these common issues off their desk and they let IT get back to the real job of helping the business better use technology and succeed. And Jamie, I was going to pass over to you to talk a little bit about some of the things SunView is seeing. But before we do that, are there any other, from your experience or from talking to your customers, any other recommendations you would make based on some of the things you've seen be successful for your customers to help them, optimize their service desk and meet these demands of today's technologies and today's end users?
Looking at sort of what you have here, you sort of covered the breadth of everything. I do want to continue to harp on self-service support, and providing really good self-service support is huge in the modern environment. It really is like one of the best ways to sort of appease end user demands is by providing really good self-service that customers actually are engaged with and want to use. Not only will that help your IT support staff, sort of clear up their workload so they can work on more complex issues, like Jim mentioned earlier, sort of those lower hanging fruit like, password resets and things like that. But it just, makes them feel good. I mean, if you can solve something yourself quickly, without having to wait on a support ticket and go through that whole rigmarole, it just makes you happier. It's like, oh, yeah, that was easy. I didn't even have to do anything. So I think that's just so important. Really providing proactive resolution for the end users in their organization is just so important. But not only is the customer happy that he or she has to really fix a potential incident without submitting a ticket, but it can really free up your team just to be more, strategic throughout their workday. So I also think access is important. So like I had mentioned earlier, if a customer is not able to access a knowledge base, it could be the best, most helpful knowledge base with really good, well-documented articles, but if you're not able to easily access or quickly search it and find what you need at a moment's notice from the device of your choice, no one's really likely to use it, and often they'll become frustrated with sort of the system that's put in place and probably just ignore the system. You sort of have that small window with end users where they want to engage with the self-service options, and if you don't make that good first impression, you might lose them. So that's why it's important from out the gate to just have really good, well-optimized self-service that's easy and convenient and really engages customers to actually want to use it and solve their issues or submit requests themselves.
Great. Well, I'm going to move it over to, I know you had a few things you wanted to talk about as far as the smart service desk. So, why don't you tell us a little bit more about that, Jamie?
Okay, yeah, great. So before I go into sort of what the smart service desk is, I wanted to sort of contextualize it a little bit with sort of a key opportunity we're seeing in the marketplace. So, the digital workplace, as Jim had talked about, it has all of these challenges, with mobility and just being able to, access, all of your items and all of your action items in a moment's notice. Sort of dealing with these, SaaS environments where IT is no longer sort of restrained by just, desktop environments. It's more, everywhere. It's in the cloud. as cliche as that might be at this point. But what we found is in order to sort of keep the flow of IT service going, is you need to have a team that's both knowledge driven and systems that are proactive. So having a team that's very knowledgeable, but then also having the automation and capabilities to help them be successful. So a strategic organization that is forward-looking, innovative, and engaged. So that's all part of what I had spoken about earlier with a more engaged end-user base that's using self-service options that are smarter and convenient and have easier access to the items that are important to them. A smart service desk meets that criteria and provides the tools and automation needed to stay ahead of the demands of the modern enterprise. So just a real quick quote from Gartner. By 2019, IT service desks utilizing machine learning enhanced technologies will free up to 30% of support capacity. So just a little bit on machine learning enhanced technologies. You kind of see it in, consumer devices. If you're, ever buy something on Amazon, it sort of learns based on your buying habits and is able to provide recommendations that will help you to, buy more stuff. That's what's important to them. So just like, those actions on something like Amazon, that all can work with IT as well. If let's say you're an IT service working in the IT staff, you're an IT staff user, and you've worked a few tickets here and there. The system works with you. It learns from your habits. It learns from the habits of your organization, from the tickets, from the data that's coming in, and it's able to provide resolutions. Like instead of you having to go to the knowledge base and facilitate that to the requester, what if it came to you? Just like Amazon delivering you recommended purchases. So all of these things, that's just one quick example, help to provide a smarter, more efficient service desk. And this will go into ChangeGear 7 with ServiceSmart technology. So ChangeGear 7 is the newest version of our product, ChangeGear, for IT service management. And ServiceSmart technology is sort of the new big thing that we're really pushing with this release. Recently, it won Pink Elephant's Innovation of the Year Award at this year's Pink 17 conference, and we're really excited about that. What ServiceSmart technology is a framework to deliver smarter resolutions, recommendations, big data enhancements, and just all kinds of other really cool automation that sort of takes advantage of this new AI capabilities and machine learning. And just a few quick bullet notes here. So real-time automation for IT service management operations powered by artificial intelligence. So we are first to market with this, providing a proprietary AI platform specifically built for IT service management. So that can be powerful innovations in machine learning, big data recommendation engines, chatbot, which I didn't really cover too much, but that's more like a virtual assistant capability for end users specifically. Other actions like augmented assistance for IT staff, so they're able to make better decision making. Reduce tier 1 workload, which that's with the self-service portal, that's huge. It allows staff to sort of automate those mundane processes, so dynamic forms and fields, instead of having to go through a bunch of forms, it's one dynamic form that sort of fills out as you're filling it out. And overall improve customer satisfaction. All these systems sort of work together to speed up resolution times, to provide more easier access to knowledge base items and support for end users. And then just more channels altogether. So whether you're on the web, email, phone, mobile, chat, virtual assistant, whatever channel you want to use as an end user, our goal is to make sure that it's a consistent, convenient experience across all platforms. And that's just a quick taste. If you want to learn more, please visit sunviewsoftware.com.
All right. Thank you very much, Jaime, and also thank you, Jim, for that presentation. That does bring us to the end of the presentation portion of today's webinar. We're about to dive into our Q&A. We have about 10 minutes to do that. So Feel free to submit your questions using the Q&A widget in the top left corner of your console. So to start us off, Jim, I want to throw this one out to you. We talked a lot about self-service today, so is it possible to move most IT service requests to that self-service model? And Jaime, feel free to weigh in on this after Jim's answer as well.
Yeah, I think, especially if you're talking about the most common things that help desk deal with every day, easily a very high percentage are those kind of things that self-service can take care of. It's the I need a password reset. I can't access this resource. I need access to this, this application, this SaaS application. I need higher level access. I don't have permission to access this thing. Things like that. I mean, it's, as an IT person, yeah, technically it takes you no time at all to deal with that. But as you deal with tons of these on the course of a day, it really eats into the time to do the stuff that you're really paid to do. So yeah, I think, you definitely can get a majority and possibly much higher of your daily requests. Of course, that still leaves you with a lot of the thorniest, toughest things that are more likely to take time to solve. But that's what you want IT resources dedicated to. You want them dedicated to the tougher issues and not to the things that a self-service system can easily handle, and actually in a lot of ways handle better because, it's generally just a better interface. You're more satisfied as an end user if you go up to a portal or use a mobile app where you say, okay, I just need access to the next ding, 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 press 3 buttons and you're done. And you have it instantly. That's always a better interface all the way around. And Jaime, I don't know if you want to add something there? Or?
Yeah, I mean, all of that stuff totally makes sense. I would say sometimes in the larger organizations, most of the requests that come in are sort of those tier 1, like low-level requests that either can be solved with, just a really well-done tutorial or knowledge base article that sort of breaks down the steps on how to accomplish that, or, just little things like, password resets or, where's the printer on the network? I can't find it. Just like these little things, and it really comes down to having the systems in place for the users to be able to find those solutions and quickly solve them instead of, immediately going to that help desk, technician to get it solved. So I think, obviously everything is subjective and, there are going to be restrictions in place, especially with the more complex issues when it comes to stuff like, database issues or network issues, that sort of thing. But, I think a lot of that is easily solved through a well-maintained self-service and knowledge base channel.
Jaime, you actually just touched on this briefly in your current answer, so I do want to pose you this question that we do have.
Mm-hmm.
How can you, we talked a lot about this self-service, like I said, and how to implement and the benefits of one, but how can you better encourage end users to fully embrace these self-service options?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question, and I think that's really important in the modern IT age here is just making sure that you get as many people involved with the business to really use those self-service resources that are available to them. So I think having a really well-curated and maintained knowledge base, complete with a scoring system. So if one article is not really well written or maybe could use some feedback or needs some updates, someone's in there actually, doing that, doing their due diligence to keep up with the knowledge base. So that way the articles that are, sort of distributed to those end users looking for solutions are actually helpful. I mean, that's what they're there for. So I think that's very important. I think making sure that whatever channel they're using to access the self-service resources is fast and convenient. So that means not having a really slow search engine that just might, is very unresponsive and clunky. Having a search engine that works as easy as something like Google. So, I mean, that's easier said than done, honestly. But I think that's very important. And, just access. So making sure that it's a consistent, easy experience across whatever device or channel they decide to use. So if it's the web or through email or through a mobile device, whatever. As long as that end user is able to sort of reach those resources or submit a request or maybe find an FAQ as he or she needs it in that moment, I think that's the way you're gonna get people to use it. It needs to work on their time.
Excellent. Thank you very much. And to keep the spotlight directly on you, Jaime, I do have another question for you. You did mention AI during the tail end of the webinar. So do you have a good example of how AI or automation in general can improve these everyday tasks at the service desk?
Sure, yeah. So a good example I like to throw to people when I'm sort of explaining how AI can specifically improve just quality of life for the IT staff user is specifically with onboarding. I mean, let's say you're a new user and you're a new IT staff user and you're sort of getting used to the environment and the sort of the requests that are coming in. If you're able to sort of get that full context of basically all organizational tickets that have come in the past and see sort of what's worked before and what hasn't worked, or confidence scoring based on what has worked, so getting recommendations in real time, that would save a lot of time. Sort of that autofill function that you see sort of on web forms just as a consumer. But so yeah, onboarding I think is a big one. A ticket would come in, you maybe would put the AI system would automatically read what type of ticket. Let's say it's a password reset. Now, because it's a fairly common request, it would automatically know, based on the language and text that's inputted into the text field, hey, it's a password reset, so you should probably send it to this person, and here's the, the knowledge base article that is associated with it, and, this ticket is very similar to X amount of tickets before it, so we have all of these data, we have all this data mining in place to automatically recommend the solution for you, like immediately. You don't even have to do any research. So as a new user, it's a really good training tool because it helps you sort of move along and get an idea for how to solve these tickets without having to get up and ask somebody. And you're able to kind of contribute in a really meaningful way quickly. And it also helps the, IT administrators or the IT team leaders work on the service desk to have their team members just immediately start making an impact and increasing their ROI on the service desk in general.
Thank you very much, Jaime. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today, everyone. I want to take a moment to thank Jim and Jaime for sharing your research, insights, and recommendations with us all today. And thank you to our sponsor, SunView, for making this webinar possible. We hope you found today's broadcast to be beneficial, and if you have any additional questions, you can submit them to our speakers. We have contact information in the bio widget on the right-hand side of the screen. At the conclusion of the webinar, we do have a short survey about today's event. We'd love to hear any feedback you have on our webinars, and we appreciate your time. If you're interested in future Aberdeen webinars, you can check out our channel page. You can do so by clicking the teal AG logo on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Thank you very much for your participation, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.